to Full Court Sundays. Feel good to be back. I was missing for a couple weeks. Uh, yes. My team, we won our tournament this year, but we didn't get a chance to participate in the Nationals because one of my kids had COVID. But I'm happy to be back, and today I have a very, very, very special guest. My brother, he and I grew up together from little kids, and he's Mr. Everything now, state rep, District 6, and Dr. J from the old days. Slam dunking on me and everything. Give it up for Tyrone Carter.
Man.
Yes, man.
Man, it is wonderful to be here with you today, Antoine. You know, I'm gonna call you by your government name, not your neighborhood name. Good to be here with you, man, and man, just so proud of everything that you, me, you know, the neighborhood guys accomplished, man, and we had a wonderful childhood, we had a wonderful community, and just you know, glad to be here and a guest on your show. So, you know, let's get it in. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, every time I think back of you, me, Teran, and Daryl Campbell, it reminds me of JJ and then when he the awesome Folsom, you know, until we are dead, you know.
I know that's right.
Yeah,
that is a wonderful childhood. Like you say, playing ball in the backyard. Who knew one day, you know, I was the reason you had to get your shot off quick.
Oh, you are the reason.
I say, man, I can't get him no more. He's giving me the business. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. And man, all the accomplishments and all the great things you do, man. I'm so proud of you everywhere I go. You know, people talk about you and they don't know I know you, and I be like, that's my main man.
Oh, absolutely. When I saw you at the groundbreaking for the Myers on Jefferson, you know, people look at you and I, they're like, how they know it? They have no idea the relationship, and that they say something bad about you to me, it's going down. It's going down, man. It's going down.
And also, we relationships through marriage. Your sister Charlene, God rest her soul, with my cousin Gerald.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been together, man, ever since I can remember, man. But, man, we here today to talk about community engagement. There is so many people that's not educated in our area about that. And, you know, here you are a retired sheriff. You were a sheriff for how long? 25 years?
25, yeah.
Wow. Wow, man. Give it up for him for that 25 years. Oh, my God. What inspired you to become a sheriff?
I needed a job, Twan. I mean, you know, let's go back to the early 80s, man. We were still outside playing ball and doing stuff because we were young.
Yes.
And at 20 or 21, you know, you were no longer on your parents' insurance back then.
Right.
So I needed a job, you know, with some benefits. And day one, you know, it's interesting. Yesterday, May 1st, I have been retired 13 years.
Wow.
So, you know, I retired in 2008, and it is a beautiful thing and a blessing. But when I hired in, I was making $6.99 an hour.
Wow.
$6.99. Yeah, I still
$6.99.
I still keep my first paycheck to remind me of the hard work. I hired in 1984, and what happened is again
$6.99.
I know.
But hey, you were getting that money though. You had a job.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, I had a square job, and back then,
right?
I mean, the drug game was in full effect in the city of Detroit, and I can tell you,
Right.
Chambers Brothers, Curry Brothers, Maserati, White
Yeah.
Boy,
Young Boys Incorporated.
YBI, all of them came through, the sheriff's department. So I
Right.
mean, through the county. So
Right,
for me, growing up in Southwest Detroit, we were sheltered from a lot of things. I
We
mean,
didn't know nothing. The drugs wasn't in our neighborhood.
no, it wasn't. So, this was God's way of opening my eyes, exposing me to things that would help me later in my life.
Absolutely.
So, I always look at it as a lesson and an opportunity to find out what I don't know. And you'll find out things about yourself as well. So, working there, the education, finished up, retired, moved back in the neighborhood, live in the house I grew up in. And what got me engaged? I never was engaged because I used to do community engagement stuff with the sheriff's department. But it's no place like home.
Right.
And you come back, and I'm nostalgic. I tricked my wife into moving, my wife and kids back into the old neighborhood.
Right.
And, I walked through the neighborhood and ride my bike, and I said, well, it's not like it was,
Right.
but we can make it better than it is.
Absolutely.
So I started going to community meetings, getting engaged, and what I've noticed in most communities, the people that are engaged are older people,
Absolutely.
homeowners,
People that care.
people that care. So too many people only care when it's an issue that impacts them directly. I get calls all the time. Well, can we get speed bumps in the neighborhood? Well, can we get this? I say, there's a community group that you go through that can get you those things. So we can't just be engaged when it's a national issue, like when it's a George Floyd, now we want police reform.
Right.
I've been talking about police reform for a long time.
Yes.
But
yes,
now
you
it's the
have.
spotlight. So voters education, running for office will show you that a lot of people don't vote.
Yeah.
They will tell you, I don't vote. I don't see a reason in voting. I said, do you understand that somebody's determining your life, where you can live, what you can do
Yes, yes.
based on your voting?
Yes.
The impact. But it has to be something special or targeted to them. And that's what we have to make voting personal. We have to make community engagement personal.
Right.
What is it that you want to see better done?
Right.
And that's it. That's how we got to get them.
That's the only way to rebuild the community is with strong voting.
Absolutely. Well, if voting wasn't a big deal nationally, why are they trying to suppress votes now?
Right.
Why are they trying to make it a felony down in Georgia if you give somebody a sandwich
right.
or a water
That's right.
while they're in line? So if voting wasn't that important, why are
right.
people trying to keep you from doing it or putting hurdles in front of you?
That's right.
So it has to start at the ground level. And
Right.
I remember being in high school, Southwestern, you got extra points if you went and registered to vote while you were a senior.
That's right. Absolutely. I remember that too.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we've got to rethink because this is a different generation. They're more socially mobile, media savvy, but they believe everything that they see on their phones, and sometimes that's not a good thing. So we've got to educate them. Having a young son, sometimes I feel like I'm speaking 3 different languages to him. And I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, the kids have their own mind. They read, like you say, they read everything on the phones and everything, and you try to tell them from experience and things that we know because we came through a different generation. But they're like, "No, Dad, you wrong." You like what? Come on.
Well, they're no different than we were.
Yeah, 'cause we came up the
we had a
same
different
way.
way of looking at things when we were younger.
Absolutely.
But I run a summer program down at Wayne State, 17 to 24-year-old, all black males. Matter of fact, before I got elected, we actually got a national award for it. And it keeps me young. It keeps me engaged with young cats because, the way they see the world is totally different.
Totally different.
Totally
than the way
different.
we see
And so we have to have these conversations. And this is what I used to tell them. Every old man was once young,
Absolutely.
but every young man is not going to get old.
That's absolutely.
I say, let that sink in for you and come back tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation about what getting old means. It don't just mean getting old. It means experiencing something. It means seeing something.
That's right.
And with you young guys, it's like a book. Sometimes I know the end at the beginning. You haven't even read the book, but I already know how it's going to play out.
Right.
And that's experience. So we just try to give that to them, have those conversations about it, and try to make things better. In the position that I'm in now,
Yeah.
try to make things better.
Yeah, I know the last couple years has been really tough, and you was up there with Governor Whitmer when they were trying to do all this and the gun control, and you're on the news every day talking about. Let's talk about that.
Well, 3 days ago was the anniversary of when they stormed the Capitol.
Right.
Now,
right.
they stormed the Michigan Capitol. That was the precursor for
Right.
January 6th in Washington. And what we've discovered is you can't come to the Capitol before this and before COVID. You'd have visitors come to the Capitol, and you couldn't be in the gallery with a sign saying, we hate Tyrone Carter, or Tyrone Carter voted on the wrong bill.
Exactly.
You couldn't have a billboard, but you could stand up there with a gun draped across your chest.
A machine gun, an AR-15.
Whatever it is. So this open carry,
Right.
and to me, it's used to intimidate. And they had an open carry day where they would come and line the hallways of our office building. They come into the Capitol.
Wow.
But last year, this time, it was more about the governor telling us what to do because of COVID. Remember, she had shut the state down.
Absolutely.
And they were like, we want to open up the state.
Exactly.
So, they came up there, full battle gear, which to me, whatever you're talking about, the conversation is
Right.
of no consequence because I'm focused on that gun.
Right.
And that gun is there to intimidate people. So we knew they were coming. And a matter of fact, a video popped up on my Facebook page a year ago, the anniversary. And I'll just tell you that I used to be on the SWAT team. I'm fully trained, and I was the last guy. I was the last guy because if they came into that hall, I told them, told some of my colleagues who were in tears, hey, get behind me because there's no such thing as friendly fire. If they get in that door, I'm going to give them what they're asking for. I say it's not going to play out the way they think it is.
Right.
Because you know what? You cannot go into somebody's place of business. That was a hostile work environment.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like the people of Michigan in power, the Republican Party,
Are scared.
condoned it.
Yeah.
This is the people's house. Well, it wasn't the people's house when the unions came up there to talk about the right to work issues. They shut it down.
Right.
But because of you don't like the governor, you don't like her policies, they organized this. This was organized.
Right.
Emails organized. So this didn't just happen organically where somebody showed up.
Right.
This was organized by the Republican Party.
Planned
Absolutely.
for months. Wow.
So
And that's not right because, like you say, to you, you're trained in protecting yourself.
correct.
And protecting others. But those other Democratic people and people you work with are not.
Well, what if we had what we call an AD in training, accidental discharge? Say somebody accidentally shot a round off. All hell would have broke loose in that place because you don't know what it's about, where it's from. So the easiest way to keep that from happening is eliminate it. Do not allow it in the Capitol. So we've sponsored some bills
Right.
to not allow it in the Capitol.
Right. Right.
We've not had a discussion about them yet because
Wow.
and before we got on the air, we were talking about what does a state rep do.
Right.
And those are the things that we need to talk about and educate people as to what I do. What I do as a legislator is write laws.
Absolutely.
So we could be sitting right here, right now, and you come up with a great idea. And I said, you know what? Let me go back and research that with our Legal Services Bureau. And I'll say, well, this is what we came up with. Today we talked about, let's say, police reform. And we want to say that, an officer has to knock before they enter.
Right.
So I'd go back and say, hey, we want to stop no-knock warrantless searches or whatever it is.
Right.
Look it up and do some research. Are they doing this in any other state? Have they tried to do this any other place? And they come back and they say, yes. So then we work on the language. And then we get what we call a blue back. And, next time I come, I'll bring one.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the bill that I just worked on for the city of Detroit. Yeah, it's actually a good one. There's only 2 police academies in the state of Michigan right now, Michigan State Police and Detroit Police. Now, you can go to Macomb, Schoolcraft, I think even Fair State, and go through their curriculum and be licensed to join a department.
Okay.
But Detroit trains you, and you're part of their department. State police trains you. So what's happening in the city of Detroit is that many of the young people, well, many of the officers that go to Detroit and get trained,
Right.
they leave within a year, 2 years, to go to what is a better paying job, if you will. But it's better paying because they've not invested the training monies in you. So they've already have an advantage. So what we're saying is we're going to treat this like it's a scholarship. If you leave the first year, you got to pay back 100% of it is. If you leave the second year, 66%. Third year, 33%. So if you leave before those 3 years, voluntarily quit, or if we find out you've gone to another department, then you've got to pay that money back, because it's unfair for the people of the city of Detroit, the taxpayers, to invest this money in you.
Wow, man.
And you take off.
Yeah.
Now, who I really would like to go after is certain departments, because, my wife's the police commissioner, and, we'll go to some graduations, and you'll have other departments waiting in the back to hire guys after they've graduated from Detroit Academy. So how that came about, we're having conversations on, because there's no residency.
Right.
So, they're free to come, free to go.
Right.
But we're investing this training in you that is marketable, that is making you marketable. Right. So how do I capture what I put in you back? So this is one of the ways we're going to work on that. So that was an idea. We sit up and say, well, man, we're losing 30% of our department within 3 years. How do we stop that? Well, it has to be some skin in the game now.
Absolutely.
So we research it, we look at it.
With that skin in the game, like you say, it holds them back.
Oh, yeah. So at least I'm getting some out the deal. At least I know I've got 3 years coming from you.
Exactly.
It's a scholarship. I should treat it like 4 years, a college scholarship.
Yeah, college scholarship.
So you do that. We have that conversation. We send it to the Legislative Bureau, and they look at legally, can we do this?
Right.
They look at, has this been done? What's the language? What can work?
Right.
So we come back, and then I get what I call a blue back. So I sponsored that bill. So I go to my other colleagues. Now, there's 110 state representatives in the House right now. 58 Republicans, 52 Democrats. So the Republicans have the majority. So I go and I send it out to all of my colleagues, Republican and Democrat, and say, hey, this is the bill that I have.
What was that number again?
4747, House Bill 4747.
Okay.
And I say, this is what I have. Will you co-sponsor? Do you agree with what I'm talking about? And I think I got at least 25 people to sign on, because I have it for 2 days, and then I drop it, and then we're going to have a hearing. Now, once I drop the bill and they give it a bill number, then it goes through the process of what committee is it going to go through. Is it going to go government operations? Is it going to go through judiciary? Is it going to go corrections? Whatever it is, state police. So then I go have a hearing. Then I testify in front of my other colleagues and say, yeah, I'm the sponsor of this bill. This is why I'm sponsoring this bill. I hope it leaves this, da-da-da-da-da. I'll have supporters, and I will also have opponents that get to have a say. So we go through that, and then they vote it out of committee.
Okay.
Say it's 13. It's usually an odd number. 13. If I get 7 votes yay, 6 nay, then it moves on to the House.
Right.
Then it comes to the floor, and it goes up on the board. We go through second reading, then third reading. Then we vote on it. If it passes out of the House, then it goes over to the Senate. And if it passes out of the Senate, then it goes to the governor's desk for a signature. And she has the right to veto. You can go through that entire process.
And she can say no.
And it gets to the governor, whoever the governor is.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the process.
Right.
So
how long does this process take?
It all depends on what the bill is.
Does it take a year? Does it take 6 months, 2 months? Or?
Let me give you an idea. And it's
because that's an interesting question.
It all depends on